This is, um, I think it's the 43rd. I'm not super confident about that, but when am I ever confident about what episode of the pod it is? But it is, assumingly, the 43rd episode of the Runnin My Mouth podcast. I am your no longer in pain host, Aaron, and allow me to run my mouth for a little bit. I'm just gonna grab my phone because it's all the way over here. Okay. So, tooth update. Very exciting for one person, and that person is me. But I have finally seen a dentist. It was actually surprisingly easy. I called them on a Monday, and I went in on a Tuesday, which was crazy. Got my first cleaning in, I want to say, like 3 years. I don't think I've been to the dentist since I've been living in Jackson, which is kind of crazy. And my dentist told me I had pretty teeth, so I'm kind of flying high on that. Not that I was ever self-conscious about my teeth, but to have them be complimented by a dentist, no less, feels pretty good. Feels pretty good, I have to say. They also told me I have to get all of my wisdom teeth out, which I felt like that was gonna happen. Like I was kind of expecting that, but still to have that have to happen. It is yeah, I've never had like major surgery or anything like that, and I don't know if this would be considered major surgery. I mean, I mentioned this either last episode or a couple episodes ago, but when I was in high school, I had to be put under to get a chalazion drained from my eyelid, which I had to have that procedure twice, and the second time they didn't put me under, which sucked. But I've talked about that already. But that was the only time I've ever gone under like IV sedation. And this time they're saying, to get my wisdom teeth out, that's likely what's going to happen. Which honestly, I'm not against it or anything like that. It's just, it's a little nerve-wracking. It is a major medical procedure, I would say. There's probably going to be stitches involved. But the good thing is that they did like the 360 x-ray on my head, which I had gotten a few times when I had braces, so it kind of brought me back, weirdly. But I saw that all of my wisdom teeth, even the ones down here that are still like halfway descended, or ascended, I guess technically, because they have to come up, they're all pointing upright. So I would imagine that means it'll be like a normal tooth extraction, and they won't have to like break it into pieces to yank them out of my head, which sounds awful. But again, if I'm like under, then I guess it doesn't really matter. And also, my dentist told, which I don't know why I'm divulging all of this. I brought it up last episode, so I guess I'm gonna keep talking about it. But my dentist was like, oh yeah, it'll be like 4 days. And that's it. And, take off on a Thursday, go back to work on Monday, which is crazy to me. Because, my only experience with the whole wisdom tooth experience, is when my mom got hers out. And of course, she was a little bit older than I am currently when she got them out. I don't know for sure, but I would assume she was like in her mid to late 30s. No, she was definitely into her 40s by then. And so I remember it because I was in the second grade, I think, and my mom had come back from having her wisdom teeth out, and she couldn't talk, so she had to like write down stuff for us to do on this little notepad. And keep in mind, I'm like 6 or 7 years old, or 5 or 6 years old. I think I was like pretty young, and my brother is about 4 years older than me. And she comes back and she's like writing stuff down on this little notepad to like try to talk to us or whatever. And I start freaking out, like, because she's got the whole bandage around her head, which, if having the whole bandage around your head, that feels intense. That's like a lot, I don't know if they still do that, but there was, the meme with Chloe and Hallie, where Hallie just got her wisdom teeth out and she's laughing, and Chloe's like, don't laugh, you can't laugh. And she has the whole bandage around her head too. So, like, that's a bit much. But anyways, back to the story. she can't talk and her face is kind of swollen and she has a whole bandage around her head. And also, this is a little bit depressing, but not long before this, my grandma had just died, which is her mom, and we had basically all like watched her degenerate because she had cancer. And that kind of reminded me of that, and so I started freaking out and crying because I thought my mom was gonna die because her face is all bandaged up. And she looks at me and she goes like, "Why are you crying?" Like incredulous that me being, 5 or 6 years old, seeing my mom in such a state would make me freak out, So that's my only experience with people getting their wisdom teeth out, and now I have to get mine out. So that's something I have to look forward to, I guess. But, that for the most part is like the only thing that's like majorly wrong with me, which is a weird thing to say, but majorly wrong with me, medical wise, anyways, that can like actually get like fixed in a reasonable way. So, like, once I have my wisdom teeth out, I feel like, I don't know if my quality of life is going to be like significantly better or anything like that, but that'll be like, I guess, the last thing that I need to do. I don't know. Wisdom teeth are an interesting concept. It's kind of like, I feel like wisdom teeth now, getting them out is like when you're a kid and all the kids' media shows, kids getting their tonsils out. And then for some reason you get to eat ice cream. I don't know what that's all about. I never got my tonsils out. I still got them. They're still in my throat. Um, but, you don't really hear about people getting their tonsils out anymore. But you do hear about people getting their wisdom teeth out. And I feel like usually it's when you're older. It's old to like, teenager to like adult, I would say. So anyway, I have a list of topics. My list of topics isn't very long because not much has been going on with me in Aaron land. But I will say today I was sitting in the parking lot at the Walmart about to do my grocery shopping, which I neglected to do last week because I didn't have any money. um, and I usually, when I grocery shop, I listen to music because, I don't know if you've ever been on the inside of a grocery store, which if you haven't, I'm very jealous of you. But also, I like grocery stores, so this isn't. But anyways, if you've ever been on the inside of a grocery store from the hours of about 9 to 11 o'clock in the morning on a Sunday, it's, I don't know, it's not a very pleasant audio experience. I don't want to hear babies crying and kids complaining. And for some reason, I don't know why this is, because this definitely wasn't my experience growing up. But for a lot of people, it seems like going to the grocery store is like a family event. Like, I will see mom, dad, and several children all just like walking around one shopping cart. And it's like, realistically, all of you do not need to be here. Like, I'm just gonna say it, all of you, you don't need to bring your entire family to the grocery store. Like, make a list at home and then send one person, and that one person will go, and then there you have it. But I really don't know why this is. Because, when I was younger, and I'm talking like elementary aged, I would be brought along with my mom to do the grocery shopping, which would always be so annoying because it felt like hours because my mom, living in a small town, this is something that happens, but my mom would be constantly bumping into people that she knew and having 15-minute conversations with each of them. And it's like, bro, we're here on a mission. Like, can we just focus, please? And so, but usually it would just be me and my mom. My brother usually never came, and my dad usually never came. Although, sometimes my dad would go to buy groceries and I would go with him as well. So I don't know why. I mean, I guess because I was, the youngest, and maybe my brother could have just like stayed home or something. I don't know. But usually on our excursions for groceries, it was either just me or my mom, or when I was a teenager, she would just leave all of us behind and go at like 6 in the morning, which is honestly, that is the strategy. Going to the grocery store like right when it opens. And, pre-pandemic, you could go like way earlier because I'm pretty sure the Walmart in my hometown was 24 hours before COVID. But, if you live somewhere with well, I don't really think there are any 24-hour grocery stores anymore. But back in the days of 24-hour grocery stores, the strategy was to go mad early in the morning. The only people that are in there are old people. So you're not constantly bumping into people trying to, weave through traffic, trying to get stuff. And they just restocked. So everything that you need is already there. It's nice and all of the products are fronted. I think that's what it's called. And everything you need is just there. You can get it. You go to checkout and that is that. Okay? But when I was, maybe middle school or really like early, or not early, but late elementary school, she would just go way early in the morning and do our grocery shopping, and that would be that. Like, there is never an occasion where all four of us were in the grocery store for like a normal grocery run, Like, that's just not necessary. Like, I don't know. And it's always mom, dad, and like 4 kids. And not young ones either. Like, I don't know. I don't know why that is. I would like to know why that is, why people take their entire family to the grocery store with them if this is a normal grocery run, when realistically all of them don't need to be there. Because that just clogs up the aisles, and the kids don't want to be there anyways. So why are we dragging them along? Leave them at home. It's fine. You have a spouse, they can stay with them. And if your spouse is like, I can't stay with them, like, why did you have kids then? But we're going off topic. We're going way off topic. I was in the parking lot trying to find something to listen to for my grocery trip so I won't have to hear kids complaining about being in the grocery store at, I guess it was 10, I don't know, the time changed and I'm like thrown off, but I guess like 10 o'clock in the morning on a Sunday. And I saw on Spotify that my good Judies, which, funny to describe them that way, my good Judies and Vildhjarta have released another single. And not only have they released another single, but there's an album on the way. And I, for pretty much as long as this podcast has been going, I have been chomping at the bit, foaming at the mouth, itching and scratching for any new Vildhjarta music since their last single that they put out, which was, I swear, like 2 Christmases ago. Like, Crystal Fogel came out, which I know I'm saying that very wrong, but I don't speak Swedish. That came out 2 Christmases ago. I'm like 90% sure. And now there is a new single. I'm not going to attempt to pronounce it, but it's out, and there's a new album coming out. Oh, it's actually just sargasso, which is like a non-Swedish word, which I don't even know if I'm saying that right. So, it could still be wrong. I could still be wrong. That came out this past Friday, which I was like preoccupado like all day Friday, so I didn't really see it coming out. But there is a new album coming out May 30th. That is a Friday, and it has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 tracks. And more surprising, because a few of these tracks came out fully 2 years ago, or 3 years ago. Well, no, I think it was just 2 years ago, or maybe it is 3. I don't know. A lot of these tracks came out a while ago, and the singles that they put out previously, the 4 that are currently out, well, I guess 5 now, but the 4 previous that were out are going to be on the album, which I was so surprised, because I thought, that was going to be like a standalone thing based on the album art. Because the album art for this new album is very different from the album art from the 4, is it 3? No, it is 3. From the 3 singles that previously came out, because those were all, like, the album art for those, it's different, but they're all, like, thematically similar. But this is, like, completely different. Honestly, the album art looks really cool. It's kind of puts you in the mind of, like, I don't know, ancient Chinese artwork. It's very nice. And I listened to the single. I only listened to it once. But I liked it. I liked what I heard. I thought it was good, and I'm very excited for this new album. And now I don't have to be, foaming at the mouth, chomping at the bit, itching and scratching for new music anymore, because it's on the way in 2 months, but it's still on the way. So that's that. I'm very much looking forward to that. And I do fear that is the only music-related topic I have for today, because I haven't been going to any shows because I have been tired and have just wanted to stay home recently. I don't know why, even though there have been some shows that I've been looking forward to. Last week, I talked about the one in Vicksburg that was going to happen. I didn't go to that. I was like, it came to be like, I think like 5 o'clock that Saturday, and I was like, not even 5 o'clock actually, it came to be noon that Saturday, and I was like, I'm just not driving to Vicksburg. I'm sorry. I just want to stay home and I want to sleep. That's it. That's really it. I just want to sleep. I want to get comfy in my covers and I want to go to bed and I want to sleep 8 hours. And let me tell you, I haven't slept for 8 hours in quite some time. So, I've been trying to get my 8 hours. I haven't been succeeding, but I sure have been trying. It's really funny because it's almost 8 o'clock now. And that is my alleged bedtime. Which, at my big age, should I really be going to bed at like 8 o'clock? I don't think so. Like, I don't know. This can be litigated later, but I have tried to, like, extend my bedtime to, like, it's crazy calling it bedtime. Because, again, I'm 25 years old. But I've tried having a 10 o'clock bedtime, but I feel like, once 8 o'clock hits, I'm winding down, and I can't even really do much between the hours of like 8 and 10 p.m. because I'm tired, So it's like, I don't know. And the same thing happened this week. This time I have a bit of a different excuse. I've been traveling Friday and Saturday, so I was tired from that and also from working like, okay, sirens, and from working like 13 hours on Friday. So it was like, I got home yesterday, because this was yesterday, around 1 in the afternoon, and I still had energy, I didn't even sleep in the car on the way back, but it's like, I got home, and then I went dress shopping, and that already is like an experience, because I have an award show coming up. I am nominated for some stuff, but honestly, for this particular one, I don't even really care if I win or not. I just want to go. It's really a who's who of the industry, because, like, pretty much everybody from, all the stations and stuff are going to be there, and it's a lot of fun, and there's free wine, so, I'm just going to show up. I can't remember if there was food or not, but I don't think there was, but I just want to show up and turn a look, maybe take home an award, cheer on my station, hopefully get station of the year, that kind of thing. And so, I have the dress that I have from last year, but I kind of don't like it anymore, and I wanted to get a new one. And so, I gave myself a budget of $150. I was like, that is how much I'm willing to spend, which I know literally I just said that I skipped going grocery shopping last week because I didn't have the money, but I got paid, so that makes things different. And also I have savings, and I was willing to go into that because I have been building it up recently in preparation of moving out of this apartment, which I've talked about ad nauseum, and I won't be talking about it anymore until I actually do it, I guess. No promises on that, by the way, but I will try. And so, anywho, I was willing to spend about $150 on a dress. And I was like, okay, I know I went to Dillard's, which that was probably my mistake because, I don't really know what my style is, but I don't think it's the garments that are within a Dillard's. But at the same time, I also don't know where to go in person to buy a dress. And, this is, I guess, semi-black tie, maybe. So I wanted something that was like formal, but not like, super formal. And it's also prom season, I guess. I mean, it's only March and it's like barely March, but we're also like almost halfway through the month. So I guess people buy them early. And there's probably other events that children attend between, I don't know, before prom, that I just don't know about because I'm not a kid anymore. And so they had like all the prom dresses out and they were like all sorted by color, which was really nice. But every time I would walk up to one of the dresses that had like a nice silhouette from afar, I would go and inspect it and just see an element that I just didn't like. And that was the case for like most of the dresses that I looked at. And we have a 2-floor Dillard's, they got a little escalator in the store. I went on the bottom and the top floor, and I feel like I did my best job of scouring the entire store. And there could have been things that I've missed, but scouring the entire store for like a dress, and I really wasn't looking for anything like that, I don't know, complicated, I guess, just like a simple dress that I would wear to an award show. But every time, I walked around, I would see stuff that, and I don't mean what I'm about to say like disparagingly, because I really don't. It's for somebody, it's just not for me. But it felt like a lot of the formal dresses that I saw in the Dillard's department store were kind of mother of the bride. You know? That was the vibe it was giving, and that's not exactly the vibe that I want to give. So it was kind of hard to find something that wouldn't look just like kind of straight up ugly on me. And also, another thing is that I have let's say unusual proportions. I'm very short. I'm 4'11", and that's like basically baby sizes in the, vanity sizing world. And they do have a petite section. And I think when I got my dress the last time, which I bought it from Dillard's, it was from the petite section, and it was a decent length on me. But I'm short, but also I'm very, let's say top heavy. So finding things that wouldn't simultaneously be far too long. And this time around, I was kind of looking for a short dress, but none of the short dresses that I saw were speaking to me. But yeah, I was looking for a dress that wasn't gonna be too long, but also just like not fit up here, And that's kind of a struggle when you have a bra size that is not sold in pretty much any store. Any physical store, anyways. I can find them online. Not even super easily, but I can find them online. But yeah, I've given up the idea of buying a bra in a brick and mortar store some years ago. It's just not gonna happen. It's just not gonna happen unless it's like a specialty store. But there are none of those near me. So, I'm a bit out of luck in that regard. So it's kind of hard buying dresses and clothes in general. It's just like not a great experience. And I did find some stuff that I did like. There was this one dress that I was like, oh my gosh, this is gonna eat. And I saw it and I was like, oh man, I gotta try this on. And so I went to try it on, and it was like it's kind of like a wrap dress. And it had like a kind of almost t-shirt collar. I don't really know how else to explain it, but it had not a t-shirt collar, but like a shirt collar. It had the collar of like a shirt, and it was like a wrap dress, and it was this really nice like coppery bronzy color. It wasn't silk, because if it was silk, it would have cost a lot more, I think, if it was real silk. But it was like a silky, like, texture and luster and shine. And it had long sleeves. And I went into the dressing room. And it was short, too. It probably came up to above my knee. And I went into the dressing room and I tried it on. And I put my arm through the sleeve, and my arm went through a hole. And I was like, what the heck is this? And the garment wasn't damaged or anything like that. That was just how it was constructed. And it was on sale. So I was like, ooh, if this dress fits me the way I need it to, then like I'm definitely gonna buy it, because it was only like $58, which is way below budget for what I'm going for. But it was almost perfect, but just the sleeves were like weirdly long, and like they had cuffs on them, but they were still long. And then it just had like these two, it wasn't cold shoulder, but it had like these two vents. This is the only way I can describe them, along the arm. And then there was like a little connecting stitch here, like at the elbow. But the sleeves, the long sleeves, had holes in them in a really weird way. And it's like, I don't know. It's just a lot of not strangely constructed, but a lot of strange design choices in a lot of these garments. Like, I don't know. I just don't know. And I have a sewing machine, and I thought about, okay, what if I just took this home and I like sewed up the weird armholes? Then I realized that still wouldn't look right. Then I would have a seam in a weird place on the sleeves, and it was like, no, I can't do this. Like I had to put it back. And so I mean, I ended up finding a different dress that I ended up liking, and it was also on sale, so I didn't end up meeting my budget. I went under my budget, which was great. Um, but it was like, man, this is difficult. I don't know why buying dresses is so difficult. And, you know, for something like this, I want to be somewhere where I can try it on. It's kind of like I do buy clothes online. Not super frequently cuz again, I haven't had the extra money these days. Um but like for stuff like this, I want to be able to try it on. And I didn't want to have to resort to buying a dress online cuz again, I wanted something simple. I didn't want it to have a bunch of weird features on it. And, I probably could have bought a relatively simple dress online, but then I would have to wait for it to get here. And then not only that, but we have recently been having problems with our post office. There's a distribution center downtown. I can't remember if I talked about this or not, but I've told people about it. Um and they have like this crazy mail backlog that is just, boxes on top of boxes, just like in a back room somewhere that's not getting sorted. They're not getting sent out. They're just sitting there. And also, the award show is literally not next Saturday, that's this week, but the week after that. And so, not only will it take a while for a garment that I bought online to get to me, but considering that we have had problems with the postal service here, it's probably not going to get to me until April, if that. So, I mean, I haven't really bought anything online recently, and I don't get my bills in the mail because it's 2025, and why would I do that? So, I don't really get a whole lot of mail to my house, so I don't really notice it. But, like, yeah. Weirdly, I feel like, I don't know. I mean, again, this isn't something that I pay attention to because I don't get stuff in the mail if I'm not, like, expecting it. But I feel like I haven't seen the mail truck, like, around recently. I don't know if that's related or not, but something to think about. Anyways, what's I even talking about? Oh, so I had gotten home from traveling for work on Saturday, did my dress shopping. It was already a stressful experience. And then I was like doing laps around 2 levels of this Dillard's trying to find a freaking dress for an award show that I'm probably gonna end up wearing maybe a couple of times. Because I got a couple of wears out of my other dress. But, so at that point, I was just tired. I was like, I don't want to do anything. And there's a show yesterday night. Zilla from Little Rock, Arkansas, Face Rot, a new band from Jackson. That was their first show last night. And Plague Burner, a band that I do quite like, from Vicksburg, which they were also playing in Vicksburg the previous Saturday that I didn't go. And I was like, I just need to lay down. Like, I feel like a Victorian woman in need of a fainting couch because I'm just tired. Like, that's the only way that I can describe it. I'm just tired, boss. Like, I am just tired, And I don't know any other way to explain it other than I'm just tired. That's the only phrase that I can use. I'm saying it over and over again to really drive home the point of how tired I am. So yeah, that was that. What else do I have on here? Well, I guess, I talked about going on a little work trip. Ooh, a little work trip, which I mean, I don't regret doing it because, overtime pay. And also, I think, the stuff that we ended up doing is probably going to turn out really well. But I was approached probably like last week by one of my coworkers because we had a shoot in Natchez, Mississippi, which is on the river. It's on the Mississippi River. It's on the Big Muddy. It's right across the river from Kenner, Louisiana, I think. It has like the bridge, except it's not the bridge. There's like a few bridges over the Mississippi River because, surprise, it's a body of water and you need a bridge to get over it. So I don't think the bridge in Natchez is like iconic or anything like that, but I also don't know. So moving past that, we had some stuff to shoot in Natchez, and it was going to be an all-day thing. And I was approached, to see whether or not I would want to do it, and I didn't even really think about it all that much, and I said yes. Because, I've never been in Natchez before. So it's like, oh, it's an excuse to go somewhere new. But also, I feel like I just needed, well, I probably still need, like, a change of pace. Because, I don't know, I feel like I've just, like, hit a wall with my motivation lately. And it's just like, I just need to do something different. So, I might end up regretting this, but fine, whatever. I'll go to Natchez. And so, Saturday, I wake up at like 4:30 in the morning because we have to leave very early because like our first thing that we have to shoot is at like 9. Or yeah, it's at 9. And so I, get to the station at like 5:50 something, and we end up leaving at like 7 or something like that. And so, we spend the entire day in Natchez. And honestly, I do kind of like the city. If you've never been to Natchez, which, to my surprise, it's kind of a tourist destination, which I wouldn't have thought about, but it is. We met some tourists there, and, the people that we talked to and the people that we interviewed were like, yeah, we get a lot of tourists from Europe, which is like, okay. When I think of European tourists, I don't think of them going to Natchez, Mississippi, but I don't know. That still strikes me as odd because Natchez is kind of a small town, and there might be some more historical things going on there that I just don't know about, or that have happened there in the past that I just don't know about. But Natchez, it just doesn't really scream tourist, like hot tourist spot to me. But there were tourists there, which just really surprised me. I don't know. Anyways, we spent all day there, interviewing people who like run businesses and stuff there. This is, of course, all for like marketing and all of that. And so let's see. I feel like, the stuff that I did there is work related stuff, so it's not really much to talk about. But I will say, I am not a big drinker. I have never been drunk before, right? But, one of the places that we went to, one of the people that we interviewed was I can't remember what her exact title was, but she was a proprietor of a restaurant that had a bar. And she was also a bartender. And so, that was, I think, our last thing of the day. And so she was like, kind of rolling out the red carpet for us. She made like all these dishes for us to try. And, she also made us like their signature drinks. And if I do go somewhere and like drink, it's usually going to be a wine. I don't really do the liquors because like, okay, loud vehicle. I don't usually do the liquors because I feel like wine is not gonna get me as messed up as the liquors might, even though there are some pretty high ABV wines out there, but like I don't drink those. So, but I was like, you know what, why not? When in Rome, do as the Romans do. This lady is giving us free drinks, and who am I to turn down something free given to me for no money, So she makes us this signature, like, raspberry lemon drop, and it kind of just tasted like raspberry lemonade. Like, I couldn't taste any alcohol in it. In fact, I would have thought that she made us virgin drinks because I couldn't taste anything. Like, I literally could not taste anything. It just tasted like raspberry lemonade. And I was like, oh, this is good, Like, oh, so tasty. And I was like, the other two people that I were with, they were having two. So I was like, fine, I guess I'll have another one. Let me look at your little drink menu. And so they had and again, I don't drink a lot, so I don't really know about drinks or what they're comprised of or anything like that. But I saw that they had a little special cosmopolitan on the menu. And the only thing I know about cosmopolitans is I'm pretty sure, well, I never watched Sex in the City, but I'm like 90% sure that Carrie Bradshaw was like always drinking Cosmos on the show. Hold on. Carrie Bradshaw Cosmopolitan. I think that was like her thing. Yeah, that was like her thing. She was always drinking a Cosmo. So I was like, you know what? I think I will get a little cute little pink drink and a little cute little glass. I'm gonna feel like Carrie Bradshaw, drinking a little drinky drink in this nice little dimly lit Italian restaurant. Why not? And so I drank it, and it tasted like, I don't know how you usually make a Cosmo, because again, I'm not a big drinker, and I don't usually drink cocktails either. But it had like lime juice and grapefruit juice and whatever the alcohol that you're supposed to put in there. And it just tasted like lime and grapefruit juice. And also, I think there might be like a simple syrup in there as well because it was a little bit sweet. It wasn't really that much on the tart side or the bitter side. And so I was like, wow, this is nice. You know, I feel like a little metropolitan woman. I feel like an adult with my little drink, you know? Which, yeah, I don't know. Like I said, when in Rome, you do as the Romans do, and the Romans in Natchez, at this particular restaurant anyway, have some pretty good cocktails. They were pretty tasty, but they also had alcohol in them. And I mean, I wasn't like drunk or anything after drinking those two. I mean, I guess I felt a little bit more convivial, if that's the word, a little bit more gregarious. Like, sure, why not? But I wouldn't describe myself as drunk. In fact, I wouldn't really describe myself as drunk for really any of the evening. And so, you know, I was kind of joking with my coworkers. I was like, you know, after this, or this is before we'd actually like started drinking. I was like, you know, I just kind of want 2 glasses of wine and I want to go to bed because already I was tired. You know, I've been tired like pretty much this entire week, essentially. So I was like, you know, I just want to drink 2 glasses of wine. I want to chill. I just want to lounge about and then I want to go to bed, you know, because I had slept like 5.5 hours the previous night in preparation for this, you know, long day and having to get up at the crack of dawn. So I was like, you know, I just want to go to bed. And so, you know, part of what we were doing is we were trying to find some nightlife in the city of Natchez. There probably is some, but we kind of didn't really find any like that. Even though it was Friday night, and you would think things would be going on. Well, okay, I did see this one band at this one bar. I think it was called Smoots or something like that. And I forgot the name of the the name of the band, but the bassist was playing a 6-string bass, and I thought that was really interesting. And that's really all I have to say about it. Just it was just a 6-string bass. I thought it was cool. Anywho, we ended up going back to our hotel, and the hotel, of course, has a bar. And, you know, it's like 10, it was like right at 10 o'clock when we get back. And the bartender's like, all right, we're closing at 10, so whatever you want, you better get it now. And so, you know, my coworkers, they're getting 2 glasses of wine. So I'm like, fine, if we're doing it, we might as well. When in Rome, you do as the Romans do. I get 2 glasses of Moscato. And I have had Moscato before. I think the kind that I had was just kind of gross. Because the first time I ever drank was the night of my, nope, not even college, high school graduation. I was at home and I was like, you know, parents, because that's not how I address my mom and dad, but for the sake of the story, you know what, parents, I graduated high school. That's a pretty big achievement. I feel like I should be able to drink a little wine because I had made my dad make lamb chops for my graduation dinner. And so I was like, you know, I want to have some wine with my lamb chops because I'm in the next stage of my life, you know, after high school, going into college. I wanted to celebrate. And so my parents really aren't wine drinkers like that. And the only thing they had in the house, or really, they're not big drinkers either. And so the only thing they had in the house was like a bottle of Moscato from God knows when, which I know wine, you know, it ages. It's supposed to age. But I feel like that was there's like dust on the bottle. It was there for a while in their little wine rack. And so my dad pours me a glass and I drink it. And it's like the bitterest, nastiest, it wasn't good. And I was like, what the heck is this? Like, I thought this was gonna taste good because technically that's not the first time I've drank. I went to a Catholic church and they used real wine. They did water it down, but it was still real wine, real wet red wine. And so I guess the first time I drank was when I was 7, when I took my first communion, which is crazy to think about. Also, I hope they stop doing this, but we all drank from the same cup. Like they wiped it off. But like thinking about that now, that's straight up nasty. Like I know this varies from church to church, but drinking out of the same cup for communion, I hope we have stopped that, especially now that COVID is like a thing. Like we're all hopefully hyper aware of how germy and nasty some activities are, and I hope we aren't all drinking from the same cup at communion. Of course, I haven't been on the inside of a church for more than 10 years, but you know, anyways. So, communion wine, it doesn't taste that bad. I don't know what kind of wine they use, but it wasn't nasty or anything like that. I mean, it was alcohol-y tasting because, it was alcohol, but it wasn't bad. And I went into it thinking that, okay, this might be like a different tasting communion wine, and it wasn't. It was just nasty. But this Moscato, which I think was the Barefoot brand, I wasn't really paying attention, but I'm pretty sure it's the Barefoot brand that this bartender was pouring up for us. It was pretty sweet. It was pretty good. So I was just kind of like drinking it. Honestly, it tasted like white wine, not white wine, white grape juice, which you can like buy in a store. And I like white grape juice, so I was just like drinking it. Obviously it had that alcoholic, not fermented. Is fermented the word? Yeah, sure, fermented tinge to it, but it tasted pretty good. And I had 2 glasses in front of me. It was already 10 o'clock. I was already tired. Keep in mind, when I had started drinking this wine. And so, I finished my first glass, and I'm drinking it kind of fast, because again, I want to go to bed. And I'm drinking my first glass, and I start sipping on my second glass, and all of a sudden it just hits me like a truck. Like, I just start feeling tired. The best way that I can explain it is when you're playing The Sims and you have cheats on, you can change your Sims needs to be higher or lower. And it felt like I, being a Sim, was at like halfway with my energy need, but some player out there had clicked on my need and set it to 0, and my energy bar was just red. Like, I felt like if I closed my eyes for too many seconds, I would fall asleep. Like, that is what I felt like. And so I was like, this is kind of strange, but also I am tired, I guess. And so, now I'm about halfway through the second glass of wine that I have, and I'm like, I think it's time to go to bed. I think it's time to go to bed. Like, I want to go to bed. I'm so sleepy. Like, I don't know what happened. Like, I was fine like 3 minutes ago, but now I feel like the floor is about to become my bed because I'm just so sleepy. And it's not like I couldn't walk or anything. What the heck did I just do? Oh my god. Okay. I just hit the settings. Undo that. Okay, we're good. Alright, we're fine. So, it just felt like some malicious player out there had set my energy need from like 50% to completely 0. And I was like, it's time for me to go to bed. Like, my eyes were like halfway open. I felt like I was like already asleep, and then somebody like woke me up. That's the kind of the feeling that I can compare it to. Like, I was already asleep, somebody kind of woke me up, and now I'm like halfway asleep, and I'm like not happy about it. If somebody wakes you up out of your sleep, you're not going to be happy about it. So, I will say, I mean, I went to bed at around probably 10:30 that night, Saturday night, which was only last night. No, it wasn't. It was Friday night. What am I talking about? I went to bed Friday night at about 10:30, and because my internal clock is just infallible, which, by the way, before I went to bed, because I was like, I've never felt this way before. I don't know what's going to happen. We do have late checkout, but, like, I don't want to be waking up at, like, 1 o'clock wondering where I am, So I set an alarm on my watch for, like, 10 in the morning, but I ended up waking up at, like, 7 o'clock anyways, which is, I would say, my normal time. So I was like, okay. And also, I wasn't hungover or anything. Like, I felt fine. Like, I felt very normal. Like, when I went to bed, I felt, just really sleepy. That's the only way that I can describe it. And I woke up and I was like, oh, okay, well, that's fine. And the funny thing about it is that my two coworkers were like hungover. So it's like, okay, I know why they were hungover and I wasn't. I was drinking water throughout the day. I wasn't, drinking on an empty stomach. We had lunch and then we had a few bites of the stuff that they had prepared for us at the Italian restaurant that we went to film. And so it's like I wasn't drinking on an empty stomach or anything like that, and I was having my water. And that, my friends, is the trick. You have to stay hydrated. Like, I've already known this. I'm not a big drinker, but I do know the tips and tricks. And the tips and tricks are that you have to stay hydrated when you are drinking, if you are drinking a lot. Because if you don't, then you will wake up feeling like death. And I fully expected to wake up feeling like death. Because again, this is more than I've ever drank before. Usually I'm like a one and done type of person. I think previous to this, the most that I've ever drank was, I think I might have had like 1.5 glasses of wine at an event. And that was like it. I'm pretty sure. And I didn't really feel any type of way from that. But this is like 2 cocktails and 2 glasses of wine. So that's kind of a lot. And also, I was talking to my mom the next day, because I usually talk to her on Saturdays. And she was like, yeah, you're not supposed to mix your liquors like that. But it's like, I felt fine. Not that I'm going to continue to do that. This was a special case. A when in Rome type of thing. But it's like, I felt okay, actually. So, yeah. That was my romp in Natchez, I guess. I will say it's a nice city. I can't remember if I said what it reminded me of, but the city of Natchez kind of reminds me of New Orleans, but it's not as like densely constructed, and there's like way less people on the street. Basically, Natchez is like New Orleans if New Orleans got Thanos snapped, but instead of it being half, it's like 3/4 of people disappear, and also like half of the buildings disappear too for some reason. But the city of Natchez, I'm not gonna lie, it is pretty cool. I might consider doing like a little weekend trip there. Well, okay, maybe I wouldn't, because like, what the heck would I do in Natchez? I'm just saying, but yeah, I don't know if, they have like museums and stuff, but like, I don't know. If I wanted to do like a little weekend trip, I would just go to New Orleans. You know what? I get the draw now, because New Orleans is low-key kind of cheap. I have been able to go down there for like not that much money, but these days, especially after the Super Bowl, I don't know what's going on. They got a little bit big in their britches down there, and now they're just charging whatever after the Super Bowl. Because I feel like before the Super Bowl, I could get hotels in New Orleans for like not that bad of a price. Now, it's like a good $100 more a night, $150 more a night. So I don't know what they got going on over there. It is after Mardi Gras season, Super Bowl is past. So it's like maybe things will start to lighten up now that all of the main festivities of the year are like done. Maybe. I do know that Essence Fest is held in New Orleans, but I don't know what time of the year. I think it's like in the summer, something like that. So maybe now the prices will start to chill out, but I would imagine that Natchez would be a little bit cheaper than New Orleans. However, there's there's not really an airport in Natchez, I don't think, like a major airport or anything. So if you are international wanting to go there, you're gonna have to fly in probably to New Orleans and then like drive up there, which is like, okay, if that's your vibe, if that's the vibe you want, then by all means go for it. But I don't know, if you're flying to New Orleans, you might as well just stay in the city. And by the way, I'm not dumping on the city of Natchez. It is a pretty cool little city. I am just kind of confused at the amount of tourists there. I wouldn't think that there would be that much going on there. Considering the city's population is like 14,000. There's not a lot of people that live there. So, the city population doesn't really dictate how many people visit, but, it's, I would say Natchez is probably like a little hidden gem. So if you want to travel somewhere that's kind of cool, for not that much money, and you probably won't be overloaded with tourists doing touristy things, then go to Natchez by all means. You know, it's something, a hidden gem. um, so I had on here guitar progress. I mean, I haven't really been making all that much progress. The only progress that I have made is that I figured out how to hook up my amp, which is right down here, which is why my hand is down here, to my computer. And for whatever reason, I couldn't get it. Well, not whatever reason, I couldn't get it to work before because it didn't have the right drivers. However, the guides that I was reading online from Boss, the company that makes the amp, was like, "Oh yeah, all you gotta do is plug it in, and it'll work. All you gotta do is plug it in with a cable, a USB cable, and it'll work." And that was not my experience. I had to download like two different drivers, and I didn't get the right one at first. I have the right one now, obviously, because I've been able to record from my amp to my computer, which is really cool. Doing my little recording artist thing, not seriously. And also, for some reason, I couldn't get Audition to work, like, with the amp input. I only have, like, two audio programs on my computer, but the only audio program that would work was Audacity. And it just kind of worked, like, straight away. I didn't really have to do anything special, after I'd installed all the drivers and stuff like that. So that is the guitar update, I guess. Um, I do, however, have something else over here. Let me see. I'll put this one aside. I have some zines. I've been doing some test prints of my articles in preparation for Couch Fest, which again, Couch Fest is Saturday, I don't remember, Saturday, April 19th. You can see me as well as a lot of other talented artists and writers and musicians performing at Urban Foxes the starting time was released, but I think it was released on Friday, and I kind of missed it. I have to go find it. But I will have some printed out versions of my articles here, and I have some test prints here. I have an earlier test print. It's over there. I don't feel like reaching for it. And I just kind of wanted to see, like, how things will work with my printer, because I don't have a printer that prints both front and back at the same time. It's one of those where you have to take the paper out and flip it and put it back in the tray. And so I've been experimenting with that. And I think the best thing that I can do is to only have the amount of paper needed for one of these in there at a time, because I got some printing mistakes, and this is taking up a lot of my paper and ink. Some printing mistakes where the printer would like grab two pieces of paper at the same time, and I was like, you know what, I know how to fix this. I'm just gonna have a few sheets in there at a time, only as much as I need for one copy of one, I guess, scene. And so I did a test print of Searching for Burning Windsor and Finding Myself Instead. This is of course going to differ from the website version of my article in that there are no pictures, because maybe I'll want to put pictures in there at a later date, but for now, given that I'm going to be printing out multiples of these, and it's going to be taking a lot of ink, as you can see, there's a picture on the front of this one, which I don't mind for that. I like this. There's not a picture on the front of this one, which is Community Building in Times of Uncertainty, which is available on my website. Because I just felt, I don't know, I didn't want to put a picture on the front. Of course, I am still experimenting with a lot of this, trying to figure out how exactly I want them to look. I think, what I have currently, I'm pretty satisfied with, but of course, the public hasn't really seen them yet, so I guess I'll find out at Couch Fest. I don't know. But, I also don't know how many of these I'm gonna be printing. I want to say maybe 10 of each, or maybe 15 of each. I don't know. Again, I'll have to, continue to think about that. But of course, whatever I don't manage to sell at Couch Fest will be available. Well, okay, I haven't actually talked to her about it yet. However, when I showed her a test print for one of these, she was like, "When can I get them?" But so I'm assuming she would be on board with it. But I can't speak for her. I'm of course talking about Lucy, my good Judy, and the proprietor of the Landmass Library, which is a zine distro that is on the porch of Urban Foxes. Which it's like I forgot what exactly it is. It's like an old thing that she like found or somebody found for her. But there's like different zines in each of the compartments, and you can like pay for them and have a little printed out piece of literature on the porch of Urban Foxes. And she was like, "When can I get them?" And I was like, "Hold your horses, because these are for Couchfest. But anything I don't sell at Couchfest will be available at the Landmass Library, and you'll be able to find them there. And also, a lot of these, not all of them, but a lot of them, as of right now, just two that I have planned anyways. So two that I have currently are, of course, available to read for free on my website. But if you want a version that you can hold in your hands and leaf through, you'll have to see me at Couchfest and give me an amount of money not yet determined, and I will give one to you. And also, I plan on having some stuff that I don't really have published anywhere, and distributing that as a zine. And also for the future, because I have been considering making zines for quite some time. For the future, I want to have some like fiction works available as zines as well. So just keep an eye out for that. I will say, I did a test print for one of these a couple of weeks ago, and the title of it was a little bit contentious, and I have it right here in my hands, but it's I don't want to say that cuz like that I'm gonna say it anyways. This is basically my satanic verses. Like, this is gonna get me ops. That's crazy. That's a crazy statement to make. But, I had the little prototype print and I made a video for my Instagram story on my private account, just like showing the few people there what I was working on. And the title of it was a wee bit contentious within the hardcore community. And that night, I got some paragraphs. And, at the time I thought it was funny. I honestly still think it's funny. I think it's hilarious, but, I'm not going to name names. And, I don't dislike the people who sent me the paragraphs, of course. It was interesting that it happened. I find it funny, but also, I think that means that this particular uh, published writing, I guess as of now unpublished writing that I have, will probably garner some attention, which, good. Pay attention to it. Have discussions about it. That is what writing is supposed to do. It's supposed to elicit emotion, and my writing has elicited paragraphs from more than one person, but less than three. So, this, this, what an insane statement to make. This is gonna be my satanic verses. Like, that guy got shot in the face. I don't think this is gonna get me. Oh, he wasn't shot. He was like stabbed or something. I forgot. But he ended up surviving. So, like, it's fine. But this is probably my most controversial work to date. Actually, I don't know. I made that video about locales, and I still get comments on it sometimes. So, like, I don't know. Probably not, actually. I would say that that might be my most controversial work to date. But the people who are disliking it are the people, these are like Kiwi Farms people. So, like, I don't really take that very seriously. But yeah, you're just gonna have to wait and see until Couchfest, or until Burning Fight, the next edition of that comes up, because I submitted it for that. You're just gonna have to wait and see what it's called and what it's about. And if you are a person just on the internet that is watching, not in the Jackson community. I guess you'll never know. I guess you'll never know. You just gotta be there. You just gotta be there. So, you know. Oh man, what a crazy statement. What a crazy statement. Well, I guess I'll close out the show talking about some shows that are. Close out the show? Close out this episode with some shows that are upcoming. I can't guarantee that I'll be there, because again, I'm still very tired. But on the 13th, this is. Let me see. This comes out on the 12th. So this will be tomorrow as you are watching this. If you are watching this on the 12th. And if you're not watching this on the 12th, then it probably already happened. But Smokies and the Narrows will be at the Cathead Distillery at 4 o'clock. And that is, it's downtown-ish. And also, as I have learned, there used to be a venue where the Cathead Distillery now sits. I think it was called Big Sleepy's. I don't know. But I found this out from an old head who told me this like over a year ago, so I've already forgotten. Friday, the 14th of March, you've got Rosehaven Motor Hotel, Genuine Mustard, and Headcanon at Urban Foxes at 6 o'clock. And by the way, when I say 6, these are the door times. I'm pretty sure, unless otherwise stated on the flyer. And then, 2 on the 14th, the second one, Friday the 14th, we have Clover, who is in the band Cheap City. Is going to be coming to do a little solo set at... Why didn't I put the dang location? I'm pretty sure this one's at Sunflower Oven. With DJ Jane DJ Jane Blank, Parrot Weather, and Argus Burton. It'll probably... I can't say probably. That's not nice. It'll be fun. Why did I even say that? It'll be fun. It'll be fun. I didn't even mean to say probably. It will be fun. It'll be a good time. Parrot Weather always does good. And so does DJ Jane Blank. And so does, well, I've seen Argus Burton perform maybe like 2 times. I think. Yes, 2 times. And each time, it's kind of folksy, so it's not what I would immediately reach for, but it's still a good time. And then, on Friday, the Ides of March. Beware of the Ides of March, because that is when Julius Caesar died, maybe. We've got Saint Social, the Whispering Trees, and the Akashic 45s. And this is going to be at Urban Foxes at 7 o'clock. Did I say the time for the last one? I don't think I did. The second one on Friday is going to be at 7, and I'm pretty sure it's at the Sunflower Oven, but I didn't put it on my calendar because I'm silly. But yeah, that is what's coming up this week in Jackson. And so, yeah. Also, there is a new, collective that is booking shows here in Jackson. They are focusing on heavier music, and they're called Crooked Letter Booking, and I'm honestly surprised that something like that doesn't already exist. Not, booking heavy shows, but just the name, Crooked Letter, because let me tell you something. These Mississippi people, I am a transplant, so, I'm not in the in-group, but these Mississippi people love their little crooked letter. They love their little crooked letters. They will put that in names, all the time. That, or, the sip, or, actually, that's kind of it. I don't know. But, if you're trying to make a name, and you're, thinking of Mississippi, then, it's either the sip, or, Crooked Letter. Because I feel no, because in Natchez, Tate Taylor of The Help and Ma fame has a studio, and I think it's called Crooked Letter Studios. We went by there. We didn't go in, obviously. But it's just there. Crooked Letter Studios? Crooked Letter Picture Company in Natchez. That is Tate Taylor's production company. So yes, if you're in Mississippi and you're looking to call your business something, consider Crooked Letter, I guess. But yeah, that is all I have for today. This has been the 43rd I'm pretty sure it's the 43rd episode of the Run My Mouth podcast. Thank you for allowing me to run my mouth. I have been your host, Aaron, and I'm going to go to bed now. If you're not following me on Instagram, you're only getting half the story. And also, I think I have kind of given up on watching this season of Drag Race entirely, because now I'm like too far behind, and it's like, I don't know if I want to watch the rest of the season. I don't know why. I'm just not into it this season. That's it. That's all I can say. But yes, that is going to be all for me, and I need to turn my dryer back on because my clothes are still in there, and I didn't want it to be loud because my teeny tiny apartment has it's very open concept. It's very millennial office space in here, in that there are no doors. I mean, there's doors, but there's barely any doors, barely any walls, very open concept. Anyways, I have to go.